Everyone, welcome back to Fran Opps Live. I am your host, Jared, CEO of Fran Opps, and our mission here is really simple, right? It's to help elite entrepreneurs and empire builders franchise their future with confidence and clarity. That's what we specialize in every single week. As you know, we bring on incredible founders, developers, and directors from across the franchise world to have real conversations, the kind that really go kind of beyond the brochures and the into the stuff that actually matters when you are evaluating opportunities. And today's is a big one. It's a critical conversation. We're diving into the real role of the franchisor and what they don't really tell you up front, right? With none other than Jim Dougherty from Senior Franchise Development. He's a Senior Franchise Development Director at AAMCO. And they were actually just named the 2025 Best Retail Franchise by Global Franchise. And that's not a small task. So we're going to unpack what a franchisor's job really is, where franchisees sometimes misunderstand what that relationship looks like and what separates a supportive system from one that just kind of sells you a logo. So stick around. This conversation is going to give you a transparent behind the scenes look at what franchisors should be doing to help you succeed once you have signed on the dotted line. At the very end, I'm actually going to share with you a franchisee testimony from AAMCO. So watch the end. It's going to be jam-packed with value. Let's jump in. This is Fran Opps Live.
At AAMCO, we've been fixing cars for almost 60 years. And over that time, a lot sure has changed. Cars have gotten more complex than ever. But the technicians at AAMCO have the expertise to fix anything.
The problem's with your transmission valve body and torque converter. We do this all the time.
After 60 years, there's nothing the techs at AAMCO haven't fixed. You could say we know cars, inside and out. AAMCO.
Hey, my man, how are you?
I am doing great, Jared. How are you?
I'm doing so good. It's good to see you, my friend. It's good to see you. And I've had the pleasure of being able to know you now for a couple of years in franchising. I've done a deal with you before too. And so that's truly is a unique relationship. And I can't appreciate you enough for your time and investment into this group. And so just thanks for being here, man. Welcome to the greatest group in the metaverse.
No, this is great. I mean, I just love sharing our experiences right in the franchising world. It's so valuable to people who might be considering this as their next career choice. And it's a big decision, and certainly one that you and I take very seriously. So
yeah,
that's why we love working together.
Yeah, it's a huge one, right? For many people, it's a 10+ year decision. That's a big chunk of someone's life. It greatly impacts of course, their life, but their kids' lives, their grandkids, their future, their legacy. It impacts communities. And this is no small task. And so it's a responsibility we do take highly seriously. And before we really dive into this conversation, because it's an important one, can you give us kind of a quick overview of AAMCO's history and really what sets it apart as one of the leading automotive repair franchises today?
Yeah, for sure. So I guess long story very short, Jared. So, we're a 63-year-old company. So talking about our history, I can do this for hours. But we'll keep it short. So 63 plus years ago,
it's amazing.
A man by the name of Anthony A. Martino, thus our name, AAMCO company, gotcha. Understood the need at that time for automatic transmission repair. At that time, they were becoming much more prevalent in the late 50s, early 60s. Mm-hmm. And he figured out how to fix transmissions and how to rebuild transmissions. He happened to have a friend whose name was Robert Morgan. Okay. Robert Morgan ultimately became our president and ran AAMCO for 4 decades. Huh. Robert Morgan was one of the early pioneers in franchising. Okay. Today, he is in the Franchising Hall of Fame. Ultimately sold the company to Robert. Anthony A. then went on to start Mako, who you probably heard of. That's just Martino Anthony A. Company.
Switch the letters around. There you go.
There you go. And here we are 63 years later, where we have 550 plus open and operating centers. Wow. We have 300 or 400 open territories. Okay. But we really grew from a company that did one thing very, very well, and that's fixing transmissions.
Sure.
As cars evolved and technology evolved, we recognized the need
Mm-hmm.
to really get into other repairs. We call it total car care. But today, where we sit, we really are the only national brand that can fix anything under the hood of any vehicle, any make, model, year. And it really separates us from the rest of the automotive population. You know, most in the automotive sector, you know, they do oil changes and brakes and tune-ups, and that's great. There's plenty of need for that. We're just very good at certainly what they do, and no one really can do what we do when it comes to complex repairs.
Yeah.
And those big ticket items that we love in our AAMCO stores. So
yeah, that's true. They're able to provide a pretty comprehensive listing of services, right? As opposed to just, hey, how many people can we get through the drive-through as fast as possible? You know, at the offer one simple thing, right? Which has its place, has its value, but this is focused on how do we provide the most amount of, successful and quality services to our clients and needs.
We want to be convenient for our customers, right? So being able to actually be that one-stop shop for our consumers is great for them.
Yeah. Now, AAMCO just received the 2025 Best Retail Franchise Award, which is a huge honor, incredibly exciting. Which, congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah,
as a franchise, they've received this. So, what do you think really has contributed most to earning that kind of recognition?
Yeah, I'll tell you, over the last couple of years, number one, the automotive industry in general has garnered a lot of attention from investors around the world.
Okay.
And specifically AAMCO, because we are a very well-known brand. We have 94% brand awareness.
Yeah.
Again, we're the only national brand that can do everything. So that translates to bringing our concept to a lot of areas of the world that don't have it. You know, we're kind of in the early phases, but exploring moving beyond just the United States and Canada and Puerto Rico.
Really? Okay.
To expand our brand, and there is a ton of need out there, Jared. So you kind of couple that with our history, and longevity of success, and investors are looking at financials. Ours are really, really good. Item 19 is very transparent and very attractive to certainly investors and franchisees alike. So
yeah, for real. And that's incredible news to hear that you guys are kind of working that way, because the beauty of this being a platform that we go live first inside this Facebook group, those of you watching this live right now, is that it's a collection of people all over the world. And so, we've helped individuals from this group internationally close deals on finding the right franchise for them. So if you're someone that's looking at this right now and know of or wherever, looking into possibilities globally and see a potential fit here, let's continue that conversation. We'll talk more about that at the end, but let's get to the core of our topic. When people invest into a franchise, what are some of the most common misconceptions that candidates have about what a franchisor does versus what the franchisee is responsible for? What are some of the most common things you typically see?
Yeah, I think the first and foremost, the one that comes to mind, and we talk about a lot, you just don't invest in a business and open the doors and all of a sudden the cash registers are ringing and you're picking up your bag of money on Friday.
Yeah, right.
The reality is, it takes a lot of work and a lot of execution and dedication and time to get your business off the ground and cash flowing into profitability.
Yeah.
And how well you execute those things is really going to determine how well you do early on in the business and how quickly you get there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's certainly one big misconception is the timing.
Yeah. But you mentioned like it takes a lot of work to do that, right?
Yep.
And I think that's what I'm interested in trying to disclose, trying to uncover is who is doing what work to really help build this business. And so what are some of those things that you typically are seeing, not even just with AAMCO, but in your experience in franchising as a whole? So mine says you see people coming in going, oh, I thought the franchisor did that. Or shouldn't you be providing this? Or what are some of those things you see that?
And certainly, Jerry, you and I know that these conversations are well before someone decides on getting into a franchise, right? It's really setting those expectations of what is the franchisor role, and
well, it should be. Unfortunately, I think there's
100%.
a lot of brands opportunities out there that maybe aren't quite as clear about their expectations on purpose. Unfortunately,
I get it. And look, the role of a franchisor is to supply the brand, right? People know who you are. Supply that playbook. So every franchisee in at least most franchise brands get what's called an operator's manual.
Okay. Yep.
Right. And it really does spell out, what the roles of each person in each division and so on are.
Yeah.
And then the franchisee should have ongoing support. The franchisor, that is, should have ongoing support for that franchisee as they're, opening their business, as they're scaling their business, as they're getting the profitability, and if they want to expand to other territories and really scale the business. So operational support, marketing support, in our case, a world of technology support and technical support and recruiting and so on. So can we
hone in on that a little bit? Like, can you share a little bit of like an example or examples of how AAMCO supports new franchisees from the moment they sign through really maybe that first year of operation and kind of helping them do that very thing? Especially you even just mentioned like from you guys, there's a lot of technology support. But so share some examples of what that looks like from AAMCO's perspective to give our audience kind of an understanding there.
Yeah, I think we do more than most when it comes to the support we provide before someone opens. So for us, as soon as someone decides and commits to our brand, the way we look at it from the AAMCO side is we now work for that candidate, that customer.
Okay.
So we're going to go to work for them on helping them secure their funding, making sure they're properly funded with the right companies, with the right strategies to protect their investment. Okay. Right.
Okay. That's an interesting mindset. We'll come back to that. It's an interesting mindset that the concept that you as the franchisor work for them, because I think there's an expectation there and a difference there that we can come back to. But I want to keep going with some of what AAMCO does.
Yeah. So funding is a big one.
Okay.
And at about the same time, we're going to go to work for our candidate and with our candidate on finding the real estate. So I think we do more than most in the real estate world as well, in that, we're in the automotive world, so it's a little more challenging to find the right properties and the right zoning in the right areas and so forth.
Oh, so sure.
Yeah. We're doing all the behind the scenes work, all the analytics to make sure our new franchisee is in the best possible situation when they open their business.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
So our real estate division will be looking for real estate. We're going to be working with local brokers and national networks. We're going to have boots on the ground. And once we have some options, then we're bringing in the franchisee.
Okay.
Looking at our options, evaluating what the best option is, what the best lease is, what the best opportunity is, room for growth, and so on.
Does the franchisee have any help or say in that initial early discovery
100%.
process, or not really?
No, it's their business. So ultimately, we're giving them opportunities, right? They have to sign the lease. So it's their lease. We don't sign any leases from the corporate standpoint. So ultimately, look, we want to make a collective decision, right?
I love that. Yeah.
One that works for AAMCO, one that works for the candidate. So and a lot goes into that, but so they're the two big ones is funding and real estate.
Yeah.
Once we have those two things in place, then we can really start to plan out the grand opening of this AAMCO center.
Okay.
So, and in between there, important step is training for the new franchisee.
Mm-hmm.
We really do have the best training in the industry. We have to, because we work on the most complex parts of the vehicles.
Yeah.
So training is 4 weeks total. We can talk more about that later. So the new franchisees go through 4 weeks of training.
Okay.
Then they're going to get ready to have a soft opening of their business.
Okay. Yep.
But in between there, we're also doing recruiting for that franchisee.
For like hiring staff?
For making
Really?
sure they have the right technicians in place, making sure they have
So
the right.
you guys do that initial recruiting for them?
We do.
That is so unique. Yeah, that's different.
We do.
A lot of franchises.
Look, I'll tell you one of the reasons why is most of our franchisees don't come from the automotive industry.
Oh, sure. Right. So how do they know who to hire, where to get them?
That's exactly right. Even if we give them the right questions to ask during an interview, you may not know what the right technical responses are, right? So
yeah, that's true.
So early on, we want to give a lot of support to helping them hire the right people on both the technical side and the customer service side. You know, the guy that's going to be working with your customers and selling services.
Yeah.
So, so the recruiting is a big part of it. Now they're going to open their business. And I think, again, we do probably more than most on the training piece, in that the franchisee's already gone through 4 weeks of training.
Yeah.
Now they're going to open their business. And usually that's where that training stops for most other franchise concepts. For us, we actually developed a program. We call it a business coach. But we put a business coach in the store with them for 5 weeks early on in their business.
Wow.
It's all part of their investment.
They like in person?
Oh, in person. Yeah. They're in the
coaches
store
with them for 5 weeks in person at their location. No way.
Yeah. And it really ensures, look, starting a business is hard. So it ensures a smooth liftoff and getting acclimated to the business. And there's always going to be questions. And for us, we want that person to be able to answer those questions on the spot for them.
Yeah, right.
And get that business humming as quickly as possible.
Yeah, right. Wow, that's amazing. And so I love what you said about the mindset too, that you guys view it as you're working for the franchisee. But I can see some like complications with that mindset too, that not every franchisor would agree with, right? That it's not so much we are working for you. Sometimes others view it as the franchisee is a glorified employee working for the brand, right? And a lot of times, though, I see most common, it's a mutual. Neither one of us is working for each other. We're working to build this business, right? And so I see a lot of those kind of mindsets. But I think most importantly, out of all of it, is to recognize that when we talk about the real role of the franchisor, it's helpful to at least keep in mind, from what I hear you saying, is that there isn't really a clearly laid out, here are the expectations that you can have of every single franchisor. There's going to be vast differences across the board.
Well, two things. Like, there are identified roles if you look into the legalities of owning a franchise, right?
Okay.
You look at an FDD, it's going to spell out your responsibilities as a franchisee.
Yep.
And it's going to spell out our responsibilities as a franchisor.
Yeah.
Ultimately, the franchisor isn't going to wake up the franchisee in the morning and tell them it's time to go to work.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
So great franchisees are those that are, waking up in the morning and they have a plan on what to execute for that day to make their business successful that day, that week, that month, that year.
Right.
So every day there's
right. But even in the FDD, right, when you mentioned like what are some of those numbers, right, where they can see the expectations of you, right? Is that 7, 8, 9, 10, somewhere in those items right there? You know it better than I do. But even there, right, it's going to lay out the clearly defined roles from you as AAMCO and from them as the franchisee. But I think my point I'm trying to say is that there specific things that every FDD will include across the board of all franchises in those things as far as expectations of the franchisor?
Yeah, I think if you look at most FDDs, it's going to be a bit vague when it comes to what the franchisor has to give to a franchisee.
Yeah.
And it really, again, comes down to the brand, the business model, the infrastructure to run the business, POS system, technology, and so forth.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
We don't have to have a recruiting division.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to have a real estate division. Right.
Yeah.
These are things that we do intentionally to help our franchisees be as successful as they can be.
Yeah. Why do you think that some of them are so intentionally vague, as you put it?
Well, because ultimately, once you start running your business, I think those roles can change a bit.
Okay.
What a franchisee needs day one is a lot different from what they need in year 5.
Yeah.
Or year 6, or if they go to multi-unit owner and so on.
Yeah. Right.
So there are certainly things that franchisors are responsible for doing, but ultimately, Jared, and you know this, it's up to the franchisee to one, know where their resources are when they have questions and issues.
Okay. Yep.
And reach out for those resources, whether it's an operational issue, it's a production issue in our case, it's financial issue, whatever it may be, we have someone that can support the franchisee.
Yeah. Right.
So,
yeah, that's harder said than done for someone to recognize they have these issues. And then yes, it's easy to recognize them, but then to reach out for help, that can be really difficult for some people. So like for you guys, what kind of franchisee then tends to thrive most within AAMCO's system? Like what traits, mindsets that really make the best fit?
I thought about this all the time, right? And I always think about this, like who makes the best franchisee for us?
Yeah.
And quite frankly, our franchisees, I told you already that most of them do not come from the automotive space.
Okay.
All walks of life, whether it's IT is a big one today, accounting, they all have several things in common though. They were leaders in the corporate world in that they managed teams, at least small teams, and they thrived in that. They loved managing small teams. They loved being a coach to people.
Yeah.
They loved being a mentor to their coworkers. And that really translates big time into our business.
Yeah.
And the one other thing that I love hearing when I'm talking to candidates is that, I've been in the corporate world, whether it's, I'm a software engineer, I manage people, and, I always had a passion for cars.
Yeah.
In our case, right? So it doesn't mean they know how to work on a car. It means, they admire that 79 Firebird.
Yeah.
Or they have a Jeep that they're always trying to tinker with, or whatever the case may be. And just having that passion for people, being in situations where you're problem solving all the time.
Okay.
The one thing I loved about our business, and I spent 15 years in an AAMCO center, is that no 2 days were ever the same. You never know who you were going to meet, what type of problems they wanted you to solve for them, and what kind of car they were going to roll into the shop.
Yeah.
And that just made the business exciting every day. And also something I hear a lot from successful franchisees is, they want to provide a service to their community and take it a step further and be part of the community.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can really do that with our business. You get to know the community pretty well, and there's ways to do that. And that's another responsibility of a franchisee, Jared, is think about local marketing, right? get out and be in your community to drive more business to your shop.
Yeah.
Pretty novel concept, right?
Yeah.
Pretty easy to do. It's just getting them to do that, getting them into that regimen of doing that during the week.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's so good. When now you've been in franchising for a while and you've been with a few different brands. And so I think you'd be able to speak into this well. From your perspective, what should a franchisee who is or someone who is evaluating a franchise, not a franchisee, but someone who is potentially going to become a franchisee, what should they be looking for in the franchisor's leadership across the board? Are there things that you see that are like, this is something I would recommend you really try to spot or identify within the leadership that might help you have a better informed decision toward this brand?
So a couple of things. If you get that far in the process with a franchise brand, and you like the industry and you like the business model.
Well, some of them, Jim, they meet right away with the CEO. Some brands they're more the emerging brand type, right? It's not going to be the case with an AAMCO.
Yeah.
Sometimes you meet with their leadership team, the higher ups right away.
Yeah. So what I would recommend always looking into is, what is the experience of that leadership team?
Yeah.
You know, have they been at 17 different brands and now they're with X, Y, and Z company?
That's good. Yeah.
Know what the vision is for the company. Is there a clear path on growth?
Yeah.
Is it a documented vision for not just new franchisees, but their current franchisees? This is where the company's going, right? Yeah. And certainly look at the financial stability of the company. Right, pretty basic thing, but very important, right?
Yeah.
If a company is losing money, that's a red flag somewhere.
Yeah.
And then the other things, you know, you want to know about the support, not just what I'm telling you as the franchise development guy, but you know, an easy way to do this, Jared, is talk to several franchisees in that brand.
Oh yeah, for
right?
sure. Yeah.
If they couple of red flags, if they never talk to the president of the company, they don't hear from him very often. I probably want to know why and who's communicating the vision, right? And, you know, what happened to the open door policy they were told about early on?
Yeah,
and certainly, you know, validate the support and everything I'm telling you when it comes to, you know, operational support and marketing support and technical support. You know, and look, I think I've been spoiled over many years with a great leadership team at AAMCO. You know, I can tell you our president is a guy that's just he's been in the automotive business for 40 years.
Yeah.
And when someone talks to them or to Bruce, it's Bruce Chidsey is our president.
Okay.
What comes out is this tremendous passion for the automotive industry in general, and a tremendous passion in working with our franchisees. Yeah. If Bruce isn't on the phone with a franchisee, chances are he's traveling the country visiting our franchisees. Yeah. And he just loves doing that. So
that's unique. Yeah.
Yeah. So if I'm a new franchisee coming into a business, I want to know that the leadership team is available to me. I don't care how old the brand is.
Yeah, that's so good. That's a different take on what they don't tell you up front, right? Because there's a lot that a franchisor often doesn't tell you, that you've got to take the reins on your own and really discover some of these things, like in the FDD. Like usually most franchisors are not going to publicize or at least market on a nice brochure or flyer their current litigation issues. Right? They're not going to disclose some of their financial hardships. They're not going to disclose some of these things that obviously you don't promote that, at least up front, right? There's a time and a place to be transparent and honest about it.
No one's ever printed, you know, our business has been down for the last 3 years on their sales information. Right?
Yeah. So. Right. But then on the flip side of it, there are positive things that oftentimes a franchisor doesn't tell you up front. Like, hey, our president actually travels and visits in person with our franchisees. Like, I don't know very many brands that do that, especially not at the size and longevity of an AAMCO. That is incredibly unique that you I don't know if you can find anywhere else.
Yeah.
Maybe
No,
make
there's certainly some very good presidents out there, and
yeah,
you
for
know,
sure.
previous life,
Absolutely.
I worked, where I worked before, and
Mhm.
tremendous leadership team, and
Absolutely, yeah.
so I've been blessed being with brands that really have a passion for the success of their franchisees, and
Yeah.
really understanding what's going on inside those individual business units,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
So good. Yep.
You can't always just look at big picture.
Mhm. Right. Yeah, for sure. Jim, I want to be mindful of your time and our audience's time as well. I want to say thank you so much for this and being a part of this and sharing your wisdom and experience and a lot about AAMCO and how they're kind of resolving some of these issues. And it's important and helpful and highly valuable. So thank you
My
so
pleasure, man.
much for being a part of this. Hey, those of you watching this right now, I want you to, if you're interested, whether you're watching it live, which some of you are, if you're watching this down the road too, you can do it then either. If you are interested in learning more, especially about AAMCO and seeing if this might be the right fit, go ahead and type in the comments, whether you're on Facebook or you're on YouTube or wherever you are, type AAMCO, AAMCO in the comments right now. We'll reach out and get a conversation going with you as far as initial steps and next steps to discover if this might be the right fit for you and to help really discover if you are the right fit for them too. That's a big deal. So type AAMCO. While they're doing that, Jim, one last piece of advice. What would you share or give to anyone who wants to franchise their future with confidence and clarity?
Yeah, I think it's important. Look, there's so many different opportunities out there, wide range, and a lot of good ones. Maybe a lot of new ones. Maybe not going to be here in a couple of years.
Yeah.
What I would recommend is finding a really good business coach, a business broker, business consultant that has your best interest at heart.
Yeah.
And can really help you through the process with several different opportunities based on, what you and he discuss, that they'll personality traits and, different qualifications and what makes sense. And so I think if you find a really good business broker, that's aligned with you and your future, then that makes the whole process so much easier as someone coming into this. There's just a lot to learn. So
it's so fascinating too that like this is the biggest decision most people will make in their whole life. The majority of people who get into this. This is the biggest decision they will make.
It is
right up there with getting married, right up there with having kids, right up there with buying your first house. Like it's a massive decision and impacts so many different things. The fact that so many people try to go at it alone without having any previous or prior experience in doing so is just mind-boggling.
No, I agree with you 100%. As rewarding as business ownership could be and should be, there's a lot of responsibilities that go along with being an employer. Yeah. Right. You have responsibilities to yourself, to your family, as you mentioned earlier. Yeah. And then you have responsibilities to your employees, to your landlord, to your franchisor. Yeah. So as a small business owner, you're wearing a lot of different hats, and there's a lot of responsibility that goes along with that. So you should be able to thrive in those types of environments, and good franchisees do.
Yeah, spot on. Jim, once again, thanks again, my friend. It's good to see you. Pleasure doing this. And hopefully we'll find some individuals that will be your next greatest franchisees at AAMCO and continue to help build up this incredible brand. And love working with you too, my friend. So I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Yeah, appreciate you as well. Great seeing you guys.
And everyone watching, I did promise I got a short video for you too, kind of a testimonial video of a franchisee from AAMCO. Check this out. We'll see you later.
I'm KJ Singh. I'm in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, the local franchisee for AAMCO Transmissions and Total Car Care. I was looking into getting into auto repair business as another venture, as another business that I like, and AAMCO seemed like a good choice. When I looked deeply into it, took a little bit deeper dive, I think the support of AAMCO, the people that I talked to at AAMCO, made me feel a little bit more comfortable. They were more hospitable and more willing to work with me. I have multiple businesses, And AAMCO is one of my businesses, and I didn't have any car experience, and I've been able to run it successfully last year. I mean, I've only been in the system going on 2 years, but it's been a good ride and it's been profitable for me because of the fact that AAMCO provides you with a 4-week training in Georgia and really prepares you to run your business successfully, either to start it or to buy an existing franchise or whatever the case may be. Their POS system is cloud-based. It's very, very useful. You can access that from anywhere. The support is very good. The technical as well as the marketing is phenomenal. So cars are getting more and more complicated every day, and AAMCO has a reputation of being the specialist for, complex jobs as a transmission. So when people trust us for the transmission, it's an easy transition for us to do a total car care and be their specialist in everything else. The brand is, I think, has a very high recognition level. I mean, they did a phenomenal job over the years, in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, even now, with that radio ad of, AAMCO, beep, beep ad. I think anybody in my generation remembers it very, very distinctly. And whenever I talk about AAMCO, even today I get that beep, beep, from all my friends and family.